Katherine Skaggs, and it's Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. I just got home from a walk with my dogs, contemplating what we need to look at today, how to best offer inspiration from the Mythical Goddess Tarot, and guidances from the goddesses. So part of the guidance that came in on my walk is to do a 3-card spread today. One that looks at the past, what are our gifts, what are the things that we need to take from the past, and what do we need to let go? Our present time, also what are our gifts? What's our foundation? And what do we most need to know right now to live in greater harmony and to move forward? And then our future, which is where we're headed, what we're creating, what we need to commit to and stay focused on. A big piece of the guidance that also came in on my walk this morning is we really need to clean out the places of how we're at odds with one another, how we're at odds with places in ourselves where we're not in harmony, to let them come to light, to not be afraid of them, but to welcome them in so we can clear them up. So as you can see, there's a lot of smoke around me. I've been burning Palo Santo this morning, bringing that into the reading to support us, to support you, and to help us to be more greatly illuminated in our journey here. So I have been working with the cards already this morning. The Delight card in Shakti came up earlier as I was contemplating what to bring in, but that was not the reading. It's funny how things go. That movie got messed up in the recording of this. The dogs were barking, and I'm like, okay, it's a reset. So I took my walk and came back, and I know that the clarity of guidance coming in now is what is important. It is about light. It is about reuniting with our inner beloved. And I know that coming into this reading based on what I brought to my awareness earlier today. So let's think about the past. What do we need to know? What's the wisdom to take forward? And what do we need to let go of? Interesting. I shuffled my cards and already Shakti comes back in to bring a message. So she, in the traditional tarot deck, is the Lover's card. Now, when Sage Holloway, the author of this deck, decided to do a Divine Feminine deck and contemplated what goddesses would fit for every card, she knew, and we spoke about this at great length, that the goddess that needed to come in was about reuniting our inner selves, our soul selves, with our human experience, with our conscious minds. And so Shakti is a representation of that. She is a representation of pure life force and energy. She is the goddess that brings the life force that animates us in this very world. She is also about enlightenment, cleaning and clearing away the things that separate us from being our whole selves, that separate us from source, from spirit and the divine. So with ours sitting in the past, it tells me we have a great deal of support from the divine mother, from the divine feminine, and from every aspect, male and female, androgynous, that it lives within us, and that we need to claim this, that what we need to clear away are all the ways that we've separated from this in our human experience, in our forgetfulness, where we feel different and separate from everyone else. We are unique, yet we are all born of spirit. And so Shakti is here to help us to recognize and claim our divine right of union with self and with the divine, and that we need to take that wisdom forward and own that in our present experiences in every way that we desire to create something new in our lives, to bring in our futures. So let's put Shakti aside and see where else she fits in with our healing and our guidance, our inspiration today. Now I'm asking who else would like to come in to show us our present gifts and what we need to know today. So it doesn't surprise me, we have a Wind card, which is the mental suit, and she is intention, the 6 of Wind. And this is an original painting that was adapted for this tarot deck, the Mythical Goddess Tarot. And her original name is Angel Night Dreamer. And she is all about inner reflection. She is getting a download from the heavens above, from this beautiful white bird. And it is giving you purity of mind, purity of clarity of inner sight. And she is about bringing that to earth. So it's good to go into dream time, into meditation right now, to reflect, to go within, to dream anew, to be intentional about what you desire to create. This theme comes up over and over. What do you really want? What does your heart and your spirit and your mind want to come together to create in your physical life and to unite your spiritual self, your essence, with all of your creative abilities? The mind is a vessel for your spirit to work through, just as your physical body is and your emotional body. First of all, we need to clarify our thoughts and focus them, to be intentional about healing, to be intentional about cooperation and co-creation. We need to be intentional about being in harmony once again. If your mind has been off in fear with all that is going on in our world today, it's very important that you do some cleaning and clearing to reconnect and to focus your mind to possibility, and to be very intentional that you will create as you desire, that you can and you will get the support you need. To intend this and then to let it go is one of the first things that's important as you begin your day and as you begin a new cycle of any sort. We're in a shift right now, and our intentions are very, very important, that we get clear thoughts, clear mental imagery, clear emotions, clear actions that are born of your I am presence, your higher multidimensional self, that we bring those through the conscious mind into a place where they can manifest into physical form, uniting your higher self with your earthly experience. So I think that's pretty good guidance so far. So what do we need to know about these futures that we're dreaming up? The third card is for our future, is for where we're headed, what is promised to us, and what we need to know about it, in case we need to make some adjustments in the pathway. Oh, wow, we got a mental suit. I may bring one more card in for healing on this. So what do we need to know? We've got the criticism card here in our future, in which, I hate this card at times. I'm like, wow, but it actually shines a great deal of light on what's happening in the mental thought forms and belief systems that we have right now. As I spoke earlier on the November 30th reading, we're in a sacred destruction cycle, a cycle of letting go, a cycle of really needing to look at the dirty laundry and to put it in the wash, where we need to clean up our act, clean up our mind, clean up our emotions, clean up our world, to get rid of the toxins so that we can be in greater harmony. A lot of the toxins have been held within ourselves and projected onto others. And this card can be one of inner criticism as well as external criticism. Our outer world will reflect back to us what we hold within. And for us to take responsibility for our future is that this card, being in the future part of the spread, has two options to it, or two messages. One is that this is what we're here to heal. And that's what we're doing right now, to come home to ourselves, to come home to being intentional mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And that we will clear this through that intentional activity and that spiritual desires to reunite into greater harmony. Now, if we fall asleep, if we do not take responsibility, we can fall into the fearful patterns and the harsh energies of the mental suit, and our mind being our most divisive structure. So when you see people, or if you are one, who's spouting divisiveness, criticism, and harshness, this is absolutely up to heal. If you see others and it bothers you, if there's mental activity of hatred and divisiveness, what do you do if you don't want to participate? Well, it's time to dream anew. It's time to set an intention to not do that, to be the one who brings the blessings, to be the one who speaks love, who speaks truth, who speaks kindness, to embody that. That's each one of our jobs. We can't wait for another to do it. We need to offer it up to ourselves, to our friends and our families, to our work, and to how we show up in every aspect of our world. So the promise of this card and the healing of this card is that we are in an opportune time to shift our mental separation and the harshness that's born of being separate from the essence of spirit and from our heart spaces. So that actually can be an encouraging card. I'm going to ask if there's one more card that gives us a clue. And of course, the card that says, yes, the way to move forward is through our heart's desires. I've been speaking to that day after day. We must return to an emotional balance that's born of our connection to spirit, to our true heart medicine, and how we desire to be in this world with ourselves, with one another, and for our own spiritual growth and the blessings that we can experience by being in physical form. So I hope this reading is uplifting to you today. It's time to return home to our connection to spirit, to know that we are the blessed ones, that is within us, to intentionally create, to take time to meditate, to reflect, and to dream anew, to get rid of harshness and criticism in our mental thoughts through the fearful patterns that we've held, and to come home to our heart spaces, to the true desires that give us the passion to be here, that reunite us to all of us being kin of spirit. We're all related, and it's time to return home to that heart space, and we'll bring greater harmony. I send you many blessings and much love.